Would you like to know your future, in fact, to see it as happens to your characters, or would you prefer not to in real life?
I would prefer not to. I feel like I would mess something up or know something I'm not supposed to know. I would rather let everything fall into place.
I'm with Riley on this one. I just want to live in the moment and let whatever happens happen.
I would want to meet my future self because I would be curious about if she's happy, what would we be doing? How do we live? Where do I live now? Am I still acting? I just have a lot of questions for her that I would want answered.
Okay. Did you know the comic before shooting, or did you have the chance to read it when you got the part?
Before shooting, yes. Before auditioning, no. Because all of us read it during our audition process, and we fell in love with it and knew we had to be a part of it during that process. And we read it so we could prepare for shooting, but I think we still like reread it sometimes to this day just because it's so awesome.
Reminiscing our memories.
Yeah. I read it after my first audition and fell in love with the color palette and the relatability of the characters, and just immediately really wanted to be a part of this project.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like when we were filming, a lot of it felt like deja vu after reading the comics and then just seeing it all come to life. A lot of our sets aren't exactly like the comic book, but I think the girls just really embody their characters so nicely, and the show still feels very much Paper Girls. It is Paper Girls.
I don't know about y'all, but reading the comic book after shooting,
it just feels different.
Think about us filming now. Whenever I see a scene from the part of the comic book that's in the show, I just think about us filming it and all the behind the scenes memories.
I don't see it as the comic book characters anymore. I just see you guys.
Just see your face. I see them everywhere. I visualize your face on KJ. You're on Erin. Sophia's on Night. It's crazy.
Okay, yeah. If you could time travel, on what historical period would you like to go and why?
The 70s. Not for the culture of the time necessarily, but because they got nice pants and I like the music. My dad and I have bonded a lot over 70s rock music. So I'd go check it out.
I think maybe the 70s or the 80s, or possibly the 40s, just why not? I feel because the 70s and 80s be fun to hit a disco. Yeah.
I would do either the 90s, 95-ish, because there was Aaliyah, there was Tupac, Y2K. 90s, 95 on was a good time. 95 to 99 was great. Or I would go to 2222 because that year is aesthetically pleasing and I would want to know what the future is.
Yeah. Or the very, very far future.
Yeah, 3025.
Okay. Do you have a movie or a TV character that you take inspiration from for your characters on Paper Girls?
I think we all grasp from multiple places and multiple works in film. I would grasp from Katniss Everdeen because we did a lot of action scenes, and in Hunger Games she did a lot of action scenes in the woods as well. In her determination of her character, I did pull from that. But then I pulled from Back to the Future for all the time travel stuff. And Mr. Peabody and Sherman was really good for that time travel bit. So yeah, I would pull from them.
Yeah, I mean, we have our source material, so there's a ton to pull from there. And then I watched Stand By Me to get that quartet vibe. And for the superhero element, I really love The Boys. And so Starlight on The Boys is a big one.
Yeah. In terms of movies and TV shows, I really like Kill Bill, especially with those strong female leads like Lucy Liu and Uma Thurman. That's always just been a favorite of mine.
Okay, perfect. Do you have an actress that is a role model for you?
Oh, Uma Thurman, Lucy Liu. I also am a huge fan of Joaquin Phoenix. I think he's just out of this world talented, and I would love to one day work with him.
I really love Florence Pugh, and Emma Corrin. They are
Oh my gosh.
they are a very gifted actor, and their fashion sense is impeccable. So they would be a pleasure to work with.
Yeah, for me, it's like Lupita Nyong'o, Viola Davis. I would say Chadwick Boseman. I would also say like Angelina Jolie, Brie Larson, like.
Okay, a lot of role models, perfect. So the tampon scene, how fun was shooting that? I bet there were many scenes in which you can't stop laughing.
Oh, absolutely. The tampon scene was for sure one of them.
Yeah.
We actually were stopped in the middle of that scene due to lightning. And so we had to take refuge for a few minutes or about an hour in the middle of that. But the first couple takes, we could not stop laughing.
I think it was mostly me.
Well, you would start, and then we would all look at you.
Yeah,
and then
we would all bust
we would
out.
join
in. And also, can we talk about how it's completely okay to have your period, and it's also okay to not know about pads and tampons. It happens. It's normal. You can have your period. It's not weird or disgusting.
Yeah, and I'm glad that we get to like bring awareness to it. Like you can look at the show and then you'll finally
periods are real. They're not
But I'm glad we get to people can like watch this show and know that it happens and know that it's okay.
Actually, having periods are a myth.
It is. But I'm just really glad that we get to be able to show that.
Yeah, and it's so great that they are young girls and we're showing them in a scene where they don't know what to do, because we as women, we're not allowed to talk about our period, but we're also expected to know how to handle it. And so I think it'll be really great for young girls to see these characters who are just as confused as they are or as they're going to be. And I think that is very important.
Yeah, not only with time travel, but with basic stuff too. Okay, thank you a lot.
Thank you for your time. It was lovely meeting you.
Bye. Bye.